Hey everybody, it's Monday. This is Susan, the Ultra Marathon Grandma, creator of this group. And I wanted to share with you what I was going to do with the rest of the pumpkin left over from the pumpkin bars that we made last week. I also had a little bit of cashew cheese left over from a recipe that I made. It's more Italian than fall, but we're going to use it. Here's the rest of the pumpkin. Then I roasted some walnuts and pecans. I didn't have any, well, I had hazelnuts, but they were chopped and they're really old and they were moldy. So we have a little garlic. We have some nutmeg and cayenne pepper. We have some miso. I had white, but it looks red, so we're using it. Nutritional yeast. That's what makes it cheesy when you're not using cheese. And then apple cider vinegar, which kind of gives it that little bit of tang. I also don't have any sage leaves, so we're just going to sprinkle a little sage to taste on top. So I'm going to take you over to the stove. Maybe you can see the recipe. It's vegan pumpkin Alfredo. I also had about a healthy half of a head of broccoli. And I roasted that with some mushrooms I had in the refrigerator, and we're going to add that to the pasta when it's all done. And then here's the pasta. I'm using a red lentil sedanini, I think is what it's called. I like this. It's gluten-free and gives you a little bit more fiber with the lentils and protein with the lentils. So let's get busy with the recipe. And I am skipping the oil, so I'm kind of making this up as I go. I reserved some of the pasta water, which is what the recipe told me to do. And I'm trying to do this a little differently so that you can see what I'm doing. Got my camera flipped to a different angle. So I've already roasted the nuts, like I told you. I already cooked the pasta. The next step that we have to do is heat the olive oil, which we're not going to use olive oil. So I'm going to put a little of the pasta water into the skillet. Just a little bit to coat the bottom of the pan. And then from there, I'm supposed to be frying the sage, but we're not going to do that either. This is how I do recipes. I make it work. So after that, I'm going to add the nutritional yeast. We've already got the water in there. Stir that up. Let me bring all the ingredients over. As you can tell, my voice sounds a little crazy. I don't know what happened to it. It started sounding like this on Friday. All right, let's turn the heat on and sprinkle the nutritional yeast in there. Stir that around. Let that get busy. Yeah, you can see. This is different not being on camera for me. And I didn't announce my live because I just decided to do this at the last minute. All right, we got that going. Nutritional yeast, whisk well. Add in the pumpkin, the miso paste. Put the miso paste in first because it's cold and maybe it'll need to smush it up a little bit. I don't want those lumps in there. I don't know if you've ever used miso paste or not, but it's fermented soy. And if I'm not correct, somebody please give me a better definition. All right, there's that. Let's put the pumpkin in there. And this may be more than a cup of pumpkin. A can is usually 2 cups and a little bit. And we used a cup for the bars. So we're just finishing it off. And, you know, if we have a little bit more sauce on our pasta, that's not a problem, do you think? All right, we got the pumpkin in there. Cashew cream. And that calls for 1/4 cup of cashew cream. And this is more like cashew cheese. See, it's thicker. I'm just going to put it in there. And we can thin it out with the pasta water as the time comes. And we need to do that. All right, and it goes plop, plop. Apple cider vinegar. Give it a little tang. Apple cider vinegar. And the dried spices. I'm going to put the garlic in there because I'm not sure when I was supposed to do that. So we'll do it now. And the spices, which are cayenne pepper. If you don't like heat, you could leave that out. And nutmeg, which is always a good spice for the fall. If you don't like nutmeg, I'm sure you could use cinnamon. I love nutmeg. So there we are. Stir, stir, stir. And as you can see, it's pretty thick. I am going to add a little more pasta water. I do have heat on this, but it doesn't. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything. And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of sage. Just sprinkle a little sage in there. I think the sage and the nuts are for garnish, if I read the recipe right. We'll put a little in there. Can always add to it. All right. We've got all that in there. And then thin the pasta cooking. Thin with more pasta cooking water if necessary. Taste and adjust the seasonings. And then dump the pasta in. I'm going to let it heat through a little bit. And I am going to put a little more pasta water in it. That's how you make pumpkin Alfredo. I've made Alfredo before with cashews and apple cider vinegar and nutritional yeast, but I never made it with pumpkin before. I wish you were here that you could taste it. It's very good. All right, in goes the pasta. Here we go. It said 14 ounces of pasta. My bag was only 12 ounces. And this is when I may need to add even a little tiny bit more water. That was pretty quick, and I really didn't have to do a lot of prep beforehand, other than roasting the nuts, baking the nuts. And I am just going to chop them up and throw them right in. And we'll reheat this for dinner. I love Alfredo, but Alfredo isn't really the healthiest sauce for you. So this is a nice substitution. You get to use up the rest of your pumpkin. You get all the good nutrition from the pumpkin. And none of the bad stuff. There it is. Now, I'm going to sprinkle this in there. You can or cannot add some vegetables to it. I didn't cut up my mushrooms, so oh well. Somebody will get a whole mushroom, somebody will get no mushrooms. And there we have it, all finished. Sprinkle a few nuts on top when we're ready to serve it. And it's going to be delicious. I'm just going to put the lid on it and let it sit here and meld together until dinner time. Hope you try this dish. It looks lovely, doesn't it? Hope you try it. It was really super simple. I'm going to turn the heat off so I don't burn it. And I don't think I can flip myself around so that you can see me. Well, there it is. Thanks for joining today. And until next time, we're going to do all things pumpkin the rest of this month. So come join me. Say hi. Say #replay if you watch this later. And I'll give you more notice next time. I promise. Bye.